James "Birdman" Finney, the head of the Street Outlaws Texas team, suffered a catastrophic accident while filming the program overnight west of Casper. His friends and co-stars revealed on social media on July 18th that the hot rod racer's injuries included a fractured hand, multiple shattered ribs, and tremendous discomfort. "We are so grateful to our Heavenly Father above that He didn't need Jaime just yet. My hero, our Team Texas leader and best friend James "Birdman" Finney, could have lost his life last night," Mike Murillo wrote on Facebook. Finney was described as being in stable condition on Saturday by K2 News. Murillo continued, "This wreck brought me to my knees on the starting line with fear of the worst." Around 2:30 p.m. on Saturday, Murillo shared an update stating that Finney suffered 3 fractured ribs and a shattered hand. According to the update, the physicians misdiagnosed him as having 3 shattered vertebrae when, in reality, they were bruises. According to the update, Finney was having difficulty breathing, and medical professionals were concerned about a lesion on his heart and were conducting additional tests. Additionally, it stated that Finney questioned Murillo if he had won the race and that he never lost consciousness throughout the incident. 2 distinct horrible accidents happened over the course of the nighttime shoot. The other involved Stan Allen of Team Megatron, as racer Mario Andrade stated on social media. Allen stated on social media, "He left the crash on Saturday with a headache, which happened after Birdman's." In a post, Allen stated, "I am fine. The vehicle isn't." Next Wednesday, he promised to continue racing an older car. He expressed gratitude to his followers for their outpouring of prayers and praised RK Racecraft and his safety crew. "I really am fortunate," he declared. James "Birdman" Finney is one of the toughest no-prep racers to ever grab a lane, and his reputation has garnered the respect of every racer he's lined up against. During the filming of Discovery's fastest street car in America this summer, Finney experienced one of the most brutal crashes to date on the show. This is the story about his comeback that almost didn't happen, and the Camaro that has replaced his familiar Firebird. The severity of Finney's collision is demonstrated by the Firebird's appearance, which suggested that it had been through a tornado. Despite surviving the collision, Finney's injuries required him to stay in the hospital for a while. Finney's career might have ended after that crash if his buddies hadn't encouraged him to continue racing. "I had genuinely intended to take a break from racing after the accident. I was lying in the hospital bed, the finances had been difficult, and I was simply glad it was over. I was sick of being away from my family and paying the enormous sum of money required to operate one of these cars. I got a $10,000 payment from a guy who drives a race car for me since he knew I was struggling. I told him it would require at least $50,000 to get back into racing, but it didn't matter because I was getting out of it. He then asked me what it would take. He came back the next day and loaned me $50,000 and said to pay him back next year. I just thought at that point, I can't quit now," Finney says. Finney knew he would eventually return to racing, but he had no idea how fast it would actually happen. A buddy of Finney's contacted him about getting employed to race his automobile a week after the man had lent him the cash he needed to buy a new vehicle. "As soon as that guy gave me the money for the new automobile, Chris Hamilton called and asked if I could drive his car because he was flagging it for the Mega Cash Days deal. A month after the crash, I was back in the saddle. As you can see, I had a cast in the first episode of the show, but I had to cut it short because I couldn't drive the darn car," Finney says. Finney obtained a 1969 Camaro that still has quarter panels and a steel top, making it legal for No Prep Kings and most other no prep competitions. Finney had intended to purchase Scott Taylor's Firebird since it was configured similarly to his former vehicle, but after seeing the Camaro, his mind was altered. Although Taylor didn't have the time to prepare the automobile, he still wanted to buy the Camaro. The fact that the new car utilizes the Firebird's turbo, engine, transmission, rear axle, and shocks saved us a great deal of time. Nothing in the drivetrain was seriously damaged in the collision. That was it. It bent a flange on the intake charge pipe, according to Finney. Finney still needed to modify the vehicle a little bit to make it suit his demands. Using a chassis engineering kit, he has trimmed the quarter panels to the desired size so the large tires would fit as intended. In order for the car to function with the 4-link suspension on no prep surfaces, he had to adjust the ride height to the desired level. Since Finney bought the Camaro, it has only gone to the track twice, but he is pleased with what he has seen thus far. With a packed schedule of races on his dance calendar for 2021, Finney also intends to put a lot of laps on the vehicle. The old Firebird is still my favorite vehicle, but the new one is much better. They will have to bury me with it. I vow. I've included it in my will. With the Firebird, we won over 500k, but the new Camaro has a longer wheelbase, is superior in terms of chassis, and is safer. This car will be faster than the Firebird, but I had to make some adjustments. Without a doubt, I'll run no prep kinks. Finney states, "We're doing fastest in America once more. Thanks to his years of success, James Finney has acquired the nickname Boogeyman of no prep racing." With this Camaro, the seasoned racer begins a new and thrilling chapter that may result in more victories and even more troubles for the opposition.